Welcome to the Youth Sunday service with First Parish in Needham. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation founded in 1711 along with the town of Needham. We are a proud LGBTQ+ welcoming congregation, climate justice seeking Green Sanctuary, and Level 2 sanctuary supporting congregation for immigration justice. Whoever you are, whatever your background, and wherever you're watching from, we are so happy you chose to join us today. My name is Katie Robbins, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. Today is our annual Youth Sunday service, where some of the teens of First Parish lead us in worship. Our youth have worked creatively to share a meaningful pre-recorded version of our beloved annual Youth Sunday service for you today. We are also so proud to congratulate our 8 graduating seniors with a bridging ceremony. As you know, what's happening right now at the congregation is very different than usual because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although our building is closed, our faith community is open. We have been connecting all year in a variety of ways that you can learn about at our website, uuneedham.org, or on our social media. Our sincere hope is that these online services and connection opportunities will help us keep the physical distance required during this pandemic without losing much of the spiritual, emotional, and social closeness that we treasure in our community. Welcome again to everyone. Our First Parish community has become innovative about how we can stay in touch and renew our spirits without meeting in person, and we hope that you've been plugging in to our Zoom gathering opportunities throughout the week. For example, you're invited to our Zoom social hour directly following this worship service that will include the chance to meet our youth in person. Please find the link in your Saturday Bell Notes email. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome. We are so happy you chose to join us today. We share these opening words with you written by Andrew Pakula. We arrived together here, travelers on life's journey, seekers of meaning, of love, of healing, of justice, of truth. Numerous are our origins, our paths, and our destinations, and yet happily our ways have joined together here today. Spirit of life, source of love, may our joining be a blessing. May it bring comfort to those who are in pain. May it bring wisdom and guidance for our journeys. May we embrace this in every instant of our lives.
Today we light our chalice with words from Katie Savani Gelfand. If you have a chalice at home, please feel free to light it. We call forth the life of our faith by igniting our chalice. The spark of new beginnings invites us into the sacred space to reflect where we have been and where we are going. Even knowing that this particular flame will intentionally end with our ritual extinguishing, we fear not its end, for we know with brave hearts that from every ending of our lives we are sent forth to make a new beginning.
Please join us in heartfelt, joyous spirit as we sing hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. The words are in your emailed order of service and on the screen.
In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, the covenant is a set of promises the membership of a congregation strives to honor with one another and out in the world. Though we cannot gather in person during this time, we strive to live these promises every day. Please say along with me from home the words of our First Parish Covenant as shown on your screen. We gather as a loving community to encourage and comfort one another. We gather as a diverse community to support each other in our search for spiritual truth. We gather as a service community to live our beliefs through action and care for our world.
Good morning. Today we gather joyously to honor our graduating seniors with a rite of passage called bridging that is celebrated this time of year in many Unitarian Universalist congregations. Zoe Bailey, Eric Barbieri, Andrew Barnett, Aidan Boney, Alex Boney, Julia Gallo, Eleanor Mackey, and Kobe Zinner. Reverend Katie and I enthusiastically represent the community at First Parish in Needham as we add the congratulations to those of your family and friends. We are proud of you, and we thank you for all of your contributions to the life of this congregation.
This year is unique due to the pandemic, and we are grateful to be able to gather in person with our 8 Bridgers, their parents and some siblings, and a few folks to represent the lifelong Unitarian Universalist adult community that the Bridgers are bridging into. Parents, you have been blessed with the privilege of raising these impressive young people and providing them with a strong foundation of love that will take each of them far along their life's journey. You've also entrusted this church community with the task of supporting you and them. We thank you for sharing Zoe, Eric, Andrew, Aidan and Alex, Julia, Eleanor, and Kobe with us for all these many years. Now, please rise and prepare for our bridging ritual. If you were a Unitarian Universalist, since you were a young person, a child, and you're up here to represent that community, please also rise. They're on the chancel here in a welcoming spirit. Now, Bridgers, I know you're in the vestibule. We're going to ask you to proceed through the bridge being created. Not quite yet. Stay right there. While being careful to remain physically distanced, spaced out as you come. Maybe you're practicing this for graduation later today as well. Spaced out a little bit. The path here represents the journey from childhood to adulthood, and please know it is a bridge eternal. You will always have a connection to this faith community. Our commitment to you does not end merely because you begin a new journey in life. You will always find a home here. Families in the pews, please raise your flowers or hands up to make the ceremonial archway that these young people may journey through. Come on down. Welcome, Bridgers, to the community of lifelong UUs. As a congregation, we express our pride in you, in who you are and how you engage in the world. We celebrate your presence among us and in the world. May you serve as a reminder that we are indeed raising young people who will carry the torch of our progressive faith throughout their lives.
Zoe, Eric, Andrew, Aidan and Alex, Julia, Eleanor, and Kobe. So many people in our community have been blessed by your presence in our lives. Bringing us your talents and gifts, you have stepped into church life in visible and meaningful ways. You are all creative, smart, kind, thoughtful, committed, compassionate, and fun. I'm sure I speak for many when I say that I'm very grateful to have met you and known you. When we dedicate a child, we give that child a long-stemmed rosebud with the thorns removed. The rosebud is a symbol of life just beginning, a life unfolding just as the bud does, petal by petal. We remove those thorns hoping, for a while at least, that we can protect a child from all that can hurt in life. Now, as high school graduates, you are at the other end of childhood, and it seems fitting once again to give you a rose. This time, though, it's not the tight bud of a babe, but a rose growing into its full blossom. And this time, the thorns are there. Not because we want to intentionally inflict pain upon you, but because we can no longer protect you from the hurts and disappointments of adulthood. As young adults, you may not need our protection in the same ways that you once did when you were children. However, we will always be here to journey with you, to listen to you, and support you in the ways that this community is able.
Graduating seniors, we are very proud of you, and we are pleased to present you with our heartfelt congratulations and a small celebratory gift. And we will close with this short blessing on this special day, adapted from UU Youth Leader Jane Truran. Your time is now. Today we applaud you for all you have been and all you are now and all that you will be. We applaud your successes and send you off with our very best wishes. You're welcome to visit us anytime. Congratulations and amen. Yay.
Yay. All right.
We did it, everybody. Thank you all.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of. Yeah.
This congregation has been supported by the volunteer time and treasure of its members and friends since its founding in 1711. In those 300 years, this community has seen some tough times, but we're still here. This is the time in our service when we, the modern keepers of this church, offer to give what we can to build and sustain the world we envision. The youth group has chosen to share today's offering with Canasta Solidaria, who is doing impressive work providing much-needed help to people in Massachusetts Metro West area who are food insecure. Canasta Solidaria is a program started by the Metro West Workers Center, intentionally supporting our immigrant neighbors, for whom the pandemic has presented additional challenges. Please contribute to this grassroots program and join us in solidarity with our local immigrant and food insecure neighbors. To donate to today's offering, you can use our Text to Give program. Our Text to Give number is 73256, 73256, and instructions on how to use Text to Give should be on your screen, or you can find them in your emailed order of service. Alternatively, you can mail a check made out to First Parish in Needham to our address at 23 Dedham Avenue, Needham, Massachusetts 02492. Whether you're using a check or your phone, please make sure you specify whether your donation is intended for today's plate collection or if it should be counted towards your pledge for earlier this or next church year. Thank you so much for everything that you are able to give to help support and sustain this congregation and the work of our vital community partners. Please take these next few moments to give what you can and know it will be gratefully received.
Our first Unitarian Universalist principle is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. I've always thought that it made sense that this was our first principle, because I believe that it is the most important. I try to carry this principle with me in every single day, but the moment that it sticks out the most to me was on the youth group service trip to Tucson, Arizona. On one of the days of this trip, the youth group hiked out to a portion of the desert between Arizona and Mexico and carried with us jugs of water and canned food. As we walked along this path, we put down these items in hopes that somebody in need might be able to find them as they make their way through the desert. The people that take this journey have no better way to cross the border, and the issues they face back in their home countries are too dangerous for them to bear. And their lives are worth just as much as anyone else's. So being able to do our part to help preserve these lives and uphold their worth and dignity has made me feel the most proud to be a Unitarian Universalist than I ever have before.
Our second principle calls us to promote justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Understanding another perspective can be hard, and having compassion for those with differing perspectives can be even harder. However, making a continual effort to listen to others is necessary for us to see every side of an issue so that we can be sure that we are really working towards justice. In West Virginia, during the service trip 2 years ago, the youth group faced some very different points of view, even from the UUs in that region. Hearing their arguments in the context of their community, which I was able to experience firsthand, allowed me to examine my own beliefs in a new way. I believe that the compassion I showed the citizens of War, West Virginia, in the form of listening openly, helped me understand exactly what justice is so that I can continue seeking it out.
Our third principle is the acceptance of one another and encouragement for spiritual growth in our congregations. For me, church has always been a safe environment where I felt truly accepted for just being myself. I used to be pretty shy and self-conscious in school, but after going to church and youth group basically every Sunday, I was able to find a community and friends I could call my own, which then gave me the confidence to reach out to other people during the week. After years of religious education, coming of age really challenged me to define both my own values but also my spirituality, since I already knew that my parents joined First Parish because they have different spiritual views but share the same values. In addition, coming of age taught me what to say when my friends would ask me what being a Unitarian Universalist actually meant. Thanks to the support of First Parish, I will continue to express my values of accepting people no matter what spiritual beliefs they had and continue to question my own.
The fourth principle states that we believe in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. For most of my life, I saw this principle as being about who is God, or why are we here, or who am I? During coming of age, I was so grateful to be part of a spiritual community that encouraged me to figure out and talk about my beliefs, not be told what to believe. I'm so thankful that I've gotten to investigate these big questions myself. But as I've grown up in this church, I've realized that this principle doesn't call on us to be self-centered seekers of our own truth, but rather to make sure that every person has the given right and freedom to find their truth. My sophomore year, when the youth group was in War, West Virginia, I met a man named Charlie, who had always worked as a coal miner. He believed that to be a good man, he had to provide for his family, no matter the cost. Coal mining took a huge toll on his lungs, his heart, and his lifespan. But he still saw it as a necessary evil. Where he lived, a half-hour drive from the Shenandoah River in the Blue Ridge Mountains, the small town's economy relied on at least some people being employed. Charlie wished that his neighbors could leave for better jobs, but most people didn't graduate from high school, and over a third of the town read below a fourth grade reading level, including Charlie. Nearly 2.5 years later, I'm still reckoning with Charlie's story and how it stood against my own stance on the climate crisis. But I'm mostly reckoning with the realization that despite my great experience with the public schools, not every kid in our country gets something even remotely similar. And that as a Unitarian Universalist, it's important to fight for a world where everyone, no matter their family's income, immigration status, or location, can learn how to read, write, and research so that they can find their own truth and meaning.
Hey everyone, Andrew Barnett here. The fifth principle of our faith states that we affirm the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and as a society at large. The fifth principle reaffirms our belief in the independence and validity of the many different paths that we all take throughout our spiritual journeys. The right of conscience is the right to make your own decisions and have an internal sense of what is right and wrong. The right of conscience is an essential aspect of the democratic process, granting voters in any body the ability to make choices based on their own beliefs, not those forced upon them by others. We use the democratic process all the time in youth group. It decides where our service trips will be to, what movie we're going to watch, or what game we want to play.
We give everyone the opportunity to raise ideas and allow the group to choose on what we do next. The fifth principle also talks about the right to democracy in society at large. And recently, we have seen that democracy come under threat. The racist and restrictive voting laws passed in states across the South and attempts to overthrow our election are attacks on our democracy. For now, I'm signing petitions and staying engaged on these issues. But I hope that in the future, I will be able to play a more active role in the fight for voting rights across America. I implore everyone to remember the fifth principle and the importance of democracy when making a group decision, volunteering your time, or even just watching the news. Thanks.
I think the best way to start a reflection on the sixth principle is to read it. Quote, "The goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all." I'm sure we would all love to believe that we have these principles permanently etched into our memory, but even someone like me who's been attending a UU church my entire life can't remember them. So there's your reminder. Over these past 4 years, I have had the pleasure of participating in 3 out-of-state service trips as well as a local one. My freshman year, we went to New Orleans. My sophomore year, we went to West Virginia. And my junior year, we went to the US-Mexico border in Arizona. Then, for my senior year, we stayed close and did smaller, more COVID-friendly service projects. The 2 trips I want to focus on were actually back-to-back, West Virginia and Arizona. I want to connect these to the peace, liberty, and justice for all part of the sixth principle. In West Virginia, I worked primarily on a small farm, doing odd jobs like placing stones on walls and painting the insides of rooms of the house. The family we were working alongside was a family of proud Trump supporters. They really appreciated his attention to rural, working Americans, and they were surrounded by others who supported and encouraged this political belief. I had no judgment for them. I helped them regardless of this. Peace, liberty, and justice for all. In Arizona, we were partnered with BorderLinks, a group that provides aid and assistance to immigrants crossing the US-Mexico border. One of the activities we did was a water drop with no more deaths, meaning we walked into the very desert that many immigrants are forced to cross and left behind water and other necessary items. I'm not sure of this exactly, and I don't want to make hasty assumptions, but I would guess that neither these migrants nor the organizations we were working with were proud Trump supporters, as the West Virginia family had been. I helped them regardless of this. Peace, liberty, and justice for all. Throughout youth group and our various service trips, I have learned that there comes a time when working with someone else to improve their quality of life crosses boundaries. In this specific case, that boundary was centered on politics, but it goes beyond that too. Race, ethnicity, gender, social class, and so on. People are good, and people deserve to feel valued and helped if they want or need it. The sixth principle is all about this, creating a community where everyone feels as though they have peace, liberty, and justice. Thank you.
I join you from outside. Look at the beautiful trees. Listen to the singing birds. How beautiful. I agreed to talk about the seventh Unitarian Universalist principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, because I knew I'd flip my message to honor, thank, and celebrate these incredible teens for being my best example of the interdependent web of all life. They understand that we must care for and nurture our interconnections with one another, all living beings, and our beloved Mother Earth. We can't wait. We must start taking care of one another and all living beings and our beloved Mother Earth today. Just as I personally start to get jaded or filled with fear, I hear their stories and my heart grows. Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal faith. This means we connect with one another and as a congregation and as a global religion that promotes thinking minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. My working definition of covenanting is an agreement or promise made by two or more people that strives towards a shared ideal while also recognizing the need for a path for beginning again with love when we humans make mistakes and hurt one another. Here at First Parish, our kids and our youth are making covenants and living our values with one another and our world. I thank them for having the strength, dedication, and commitment to keep doing so. Covenants are also living documents in that they evolve and grow. Just like individuals change, so do our shared ideals. For example, many UU congregations are considering a proposed 8th principle, journeying towards spiritual wholeness, by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community, by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. This evolving and growing in our ideals is where our phenomenal youth most inspire me, because they are so often leading by example. They stay aware with their thinking minds, radical with their loving hearts, and dedicated with their helping hands. They lead the way with courageous love. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being you.
Please join us in heartfelt, joyous spirit as we sing This Little Light of Mine. The words are in your emailed order of service and on the screen.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
As we extinguish our chalice, please join me in reading the words printed in your order of service from Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Elizabeth Sally Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
For our closing words, we share with you excerpts from Calvin Dames' Remembering Our Virtues, Spirit of Life and Love, which moves through us and through all the world, May we this day be grateful for the gift of life which is ours, remembering today and always that the life we have and hold is a mystery and precious. May we this day be reminded of the responsibilities we carry, not so that we are intimidated or overwhelmed, but so that we may be true to them, so that we may be faithful in carrying them forward. May we this day be inspired, be filled with new breath, be filled with new enthusiasm, be ready to see fresh opportunities, new perspectives, unnoticed avenues for actions and resolutions, and may we this day remember those virtues that bless our lives and bless the lives of others, the virtues of caring and concern, the virtues of honesty and respect, the virtues of charity and patience. Blessed be, and amen.
Thank you, Kate. Thanks, Kate, for everything. We will miss you so, so much.
Christmas.